Hello, I'm Tiffany Lewis, and today in the Cobb TV studio we have Chairman Mike Boyce with us. Welcome,
Hey, Tiffany.
Chairman.
Good to be back, Tiffany. Thank you.
Well, after months and months of work, it seems like SunTrust Park finally had its opening weekend, and we had more than 120,000 visitors to the park and to the Battery over the 3-day weekend. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, well, it was a spectacular week, not just in the weather, but in also what the fans have finally realized has been a really terrific experience, both at the stadium and in the number of retail outlets that are opening up and are continuing to open up on a regular basis at Battery Park. So I could not be more pleased. I know there are a lot of concerns about the traffic during that time. And as we've been saying on a regular basis, to be very open about it, we realized that traffic was going to be an issue. We wanted to be honest about that, but I thought that if we communicated to our people in Cobb and in the area what it is that they could do to help us to mitigate that, we would find out that the traffic would not be as big an issue as they thought it would be, and that's exactly what has been borne out. I've had lots of comments about how surprised how quickly they can get to the stadium and get out. Not to say it's perfect. Again, it's in a very high density traffic area, and I'm expecting some hiccups every now and then. But overall, I don't think the issue is going to be about the traffic. We're going to stay on top of that. I do want to acknowledge that the Uber program has been a problem. Not the Uber drivers getting there or leaving there. It's that somehow they haven't been informed that there's an Uber drop-off area. So they come and they drop you off where they think you want to be dropped off. But there's a designated Uber drop-off and pickup area, and people have to go to those areas. And we've been citing them if they have not been going to those areas because they've been obstructing traffic and slowing down the flow through there. So as much as we hated to do that, sometimes you have to use that instrument of enforcement to remind people that we have a way of doing things here, and it's for the greater good. But all in all, I think that it's everything we thought it would be and more. And it was great to see the Braves open with a 4-game sweep of the Padres. And I look forward to many more great games there.
Wonderful. So overall, a pretty successful weekend.
Sure.
Some hiccups, but we will continue to tweak and
Yes.
get better as time goes on.
That's right. And as we know about them, we'll let you know through these broadcasts and through our Facebook and other social media sites.
Wonderful. Well, next Tuesday at 7 p.m. we have our evening BOC meeting, which is held on the second floor of 100 Cherokee Street. And we have some good things coming up at that meeting. There will be a presentation of the mid-year budget, which is a part of our new budget process. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. Well, as you know, I've been very, very emphatic about the fact that it's an $800 million budget, and we have 5 people, of which 4 of them are. And I laugh when I say part-time, because the commissioners are not part-time. They work a full 40-hour week, if not more. But the bottom line is they also have other commitments. So I didn't think it was fair to drop this budget in their lap, the 6 to 8 weeks before we were supposed to sign off on, so we can get moving for the next fiscal year. I didn't think that was enough time for them to fully look at the budget, become involved in the process, and then vote in a way that's informed. So what I've done is I've spread the budget process out over the year. We'll start in January for the departments to start briefing what they want their budget to look like for the next year. But another thing that I've done is that at the middle of the year, I have something I call a mid-year review. And that's obviously 6 months into our fiscal year. We're going to look to see that all our programs are executing on time. Those that are not executing on time and in budget, we need to find out why so we can make adjustments, either by doing some tweaks or actually taking some money away from it if clearly this is not money that's been spent well. But just as importantly, to make sure that we have sufficient revenue and that we're focused on our budget programs for the rest of the year. We have a number of important initiatives coming up here over the next 18 months, and it's all shaped by the fact that I'm committed not to raising taxes, millage rates in 2018 because of a campaign commitment, the only exception being for the Parks bond. So I think that what we're going to find, we're going to do a work session on Monday afternoon where all the departments are going to come in here and brief basically their unfunded liabilities or unfunded programs, their unfunded shortfalls, as to what it is they need to do to get either to finish out the year or to start establishing the foothold for the 2019 year and 2018-2019 year. So it's a whole new way of doing business. It's a lot more effort, but it produces a better product. So it'll be all afternoon session, and then Tuesday night we'll see the results of that effort. One of the things I do want to highlight is that there was a story in one of the local, I think in the local newspaper, about our first steps to funding Sunday bus service. And as everybody saw, it's very expensive. It is. But it's important because now that the SunTrust Stadium is open and Battery Park is open, there are a number of service industry workers who rely on public transportation to get to all those establishments in that area. And I'm just talking about also the hotels around the area. They all depend on service industry workers getting to work on time, and they rely on public transportation. So we have to find a way to get them to work so that we can have these enterprises be successful, that when you show up at the door, people are ready to take care of you. So it's a big effort, it's expensive, and we're just taking our first steps to go to the federal government to apply for grants to get this thing in motion. It's going to take about 18 months to probably put it in place. But again, we're committed to providing that service to the people because it's what we need for our economic growth in the county.
Wonderful. Well, one of the things that you've been a big proponent of is transparency and people being involved in their government and knowing what's going on. Right. So it's important to let the public know that they can always come to the board meetings. They can also watch them online.
Yes,
if they go to cobbcounty.org/Cobb TV, they can stream the meetings live. Right. They're always on video on demand or on our YouTube page if they want to go back and watch the meetings. So it's a great opportunity for them to know more about Sunday bus service and all the things that the county is trying to offer.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, we had an issue Saturday where we had some polling equipment stolen, and tell us a little bit more about that and what the county did to.
Well, I think it's important, first of all, to let everybody know that the Board of Elections and the Elections Office is an independent authority. Their director is appointed by the Board of Elections. We have the county government in order to ensure we do not have a process that's tainted or jeopardized or intimidation. They're an independent body out there. So I had to learn this kind of the hard way this week because I thought that there was something that we could be doing to address that, but I found out that this was within their purview. But there were things that I still thought we could do to complement that effort because the material was stolen out of a truck Saturday afternoon by a poll worker who, for some unfathomable reason, stopped somewhere between where he checked out the equipment to the security of his home. And somebody, I think, looked in there, thought that it was a laptop, and broke in and stole the equipment and I think also a cell phone belonging to this poll worker. The great news is that thanks to the fantastic cooperation between our police department, the Secretary of State's investigative unit, and other police units, particularly in Clayton County, we actually found the people who committed this theft. And they've been arrested. But unfortunately, we did not get the polling equipment back. That's the bad news. The semi-good news is that we're pretty sure that equipment, it was dropped in a Dempsey dumpster. That Dempsey dumpster was then emptied in another truck, and then that truck took it to a landfill. We're pretty sure those polling equipment are buried under somewhere of 20 tons of trash. Obviously, we're not going to tell you where we took it, all right? And if you want to dig through 20 tons of trash to try to find this, be our guest. We've taken a lot of measures. We worked very, very closely with the Secretary of State's office. We jumped right on this as soon as we could in the lane that we could do without, involving the elections office, to give them all the support we could to recover this equipment. And I'm delighted to know that even though there was, this is something that did not make us look good, we took this very, very seriously from the outset, and the county did all it could within its lane to recover this equipment and to make sure that we preserve the integrity of this process. The right to vote in this country is such a cherished freedom that sometimes we take it for granted, and I think that's reflected by the fact that sometimes so few people vote. But I don't take it lightly, and I don't take anything for granted. And I wanted to make sure that this county did everything we possibly could to project the image and also the actions to show that we took this step very seriously and we were going to do all we possibly could to recover that equipment and to let the candidates and the voters know that what happened last Tuesday reflects the democracy in America, the Republic in America, and they could go to the polls knowing that their vote counted for something.
Good. And I'm sure there were a lot of lesson learned and some procedures that'll be changed and things
I would
that'll
hope
be
so.
tweaked. Wonderful. Well, after 33 years of working for Cobb County government and serving 24 years as our county manager, David Hankerson is
Yes.
retiring.
Yes, he
So
is.
what will be the next steps?
Yeah, so first of all, you can never say enough good things about David Hankerson. And I think it's important that everybody understand the context that when I was elected last year, the mandate was, I took it as a mandate, I won almost 64% of the vote, that the voters wanted a new fresh face in their government, starting with their leader. So I sat down with Mr. Hankerson right after the November election and explained to him why I was taking the actions that I did. And I want to tell you right now, from day one, he could not have been more professional. And the second thing that I want to tell people is that in the time that I have come to work with Mr. Hankerson, I have seen a whole different side to him. He is truly an institutional knowledge. And I would hope that he could say the same thing that I can say about him. It has been a wonderful relationship. We've had a lot of laughs together. We've shared some pain together because that's what we do as a team. But we have made things happen here. But it's happened because of what he knows and how he knows things get done. So I cannot say enough good things about Mr. Hankerson, and whatever his future looks like, it goes with my blessings, and I know everybody in Cobb County wishes him all the best. What happens now is that Monday at the executive session, the board will confirm the successor. Mr. Hankerson likes to call it his transition plan because you don't really succeed a guy like Mr. Hankerson. So the transitory position will be decided upon, and then on Tuesday sometime we will, if not sooner, we will announce who we will be transitioning into Mr. Hankerson's position. The announcement by Mr. Hankerson of retiring next week, I'll be honest with you, came a little bit of a surprise to me because I made it very clear to him I want him to stay through the summer. Mm-hmm. But he has things going on in his life that he needs to address, and those are priorities, and we're going to support him in that. So as much as we hate to see him go now, he will come back probably on a contractual basis to help us get through the budget process again. Use that institutional knowledge. He knows he'll always be welcomed here, and whatever happens, it'll reflect, this transition process will reflect the dignity that he's accorded and has earned because of his committed service to this county. We're sad to see him go, but we're going to wish him nothing but the best.
Excellent. We definitely appreciate Mr. Hankerson and all he's done for the
he
county,
has. Right.
and all he's done for the residents, and how much the county has grown all the time that he's been here. So we definitely wish him the best in retirement. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add,
No,
Chairman?
looks like it's going to be a great weekend for weather.
Wonderful.
Looks like summer's already here.
Feels like it.
let's get outside and enjoy our families and our friends and go to all the different venues that are here in the Cobb County that you can enjoy. And like I said here, you can do it in a county where your public safety is making sure you can do it safely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us again. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
All right, have a great weekend.
You too.